at the end.
Send me a ticket. I'll come to US. Then you can see.
Sure, I'll send a ticket.
Okay, then you are on.
Okay, so we start with the 7 realities. Who wants to read today?
I can read. If
Go
somebody
ahead,
can
Sudhir.
project. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I will do that. Okay, Tushar is calling. Let me get that. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Okay, I'll start. 7 realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of following 7 realities. The only real existence is that of the one and the only God who is self in every finite self. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself are sacrificed. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so-called bad, in saint and in so-called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgences in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. The only real surrender is that in which choice is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Does Meher Baba ki
Does
jai.
Mba Help Me?
Just a request. Can somebody help Tushar? Somebody who's in India, call Tushar if they have the number, because I'm trying to reach him from an alternate number and probably is not picking up because of that reason. Yeah, my number is the one I'm using the internet on, so I didn't use that. Okay.
Can you give his number, Karthik?
Yes, I'll text you. Thanks, Jerry. Okay, so 1 year it is, and let's get started with the plans and the themes and all the action that's put together by Nomita. Nomita, over to you.
Jai Baba. Can we have everybody on camera, please?
Yes.
This is not full house. Where? Hello, Vidya ji.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I joined for the first time, though I had the invitation of them come.
Jayanti ji, welcome. Jai Baba.
Welcome, Jayanti.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
Jai Meher Baba Nomita. You look beautiful early morning.
Thank you, because today is our anniversary, you know.
Okay.
You know, I'll share something. When I went for Baba's birthday, I saw all these Western women wearing such nice saris, and I wasn't carrying one. From that time, you know, this desire is in my heart. So today I fulfilled it.
Are you going to cut a virtual cake, or are you going to? We are expecting cakes at our door today.
Yes, both. At the door of your heart, sweetness.
Oh my God. Everyone has started talking like that now. Now I'm going to eat a cake. Okay.
Sanjay ji. So do we have everyone here? So today we are very grateful. We have completed a year in this journey, and we are so grateful. You know, we are reborn in this last 1 year. Each of us are shining in our own way. We understand that this body is just a vehicle, and the only reality is Baba. And everything that shines from us is Baba shining. So, namaskar to all the Baba in you, and also lovely people here. So today our theme is love, and we will kind of proceed with whatever we have planned. Basically, we submit. First of all, Baba, as I said, is within all of us, and we invoke him. We invite him to be in this meeting with us. And having said that, I would request Terry, if she can, we will read the chapter on love in discourses first. And then after that, all of us have been either associated completely with this group for this last 1 year, but some of you who have come and then, you know, come again today, we would also like all of you to share what this journey has meant for you, and what has it done for all of us. And we submit those words to Baba, that's basically that. After that, Sanjay ji, no, before all of us speak, even Karthik is going to share how this group came about and what we did during this for the newcomers who haven't been around for a long time. So we will also let you know what are the things we've been doing, what we, and subsequently towards the end, once we have finished with sharing, Sanjay ji will sing one English, one Hindi song, uh, and he'll sing that song. Yaad nahi ab kuch, bhul gaya sab kuch.
Oh my God. Is wife around, or is going to? It's going to be solo.
Jagro is on. And then Sunil will do a little presentation on what is love. Everything he found, what Baba, not everything, I mean, how much he could find on what Baba has said about love. So without any other, that's all from me. Now,
Are you sure Sunil and love? Huh? That is news for me.
say again.
It's a news for me, Sunil, and talking about love today. I'm really looking forward.
You see
I
how
was
much has
honest too.
changed?
And it's not me, it's Baba talking, by the way. So
Yes.
I didn't write anything. I didn't compile anything. I just put Baba's messages together.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Okay,
He
I
has
thought
been,
you're going to talk about how you're going to love all of us.
sure.
Daddy, he has been asked to.
He's
Ordered
been
by Baba.
okay.
Jai Baba.
So, Terry, are you in a position to read? Jai Baba.
I
Siri?
am, but I'm also in touch with, yes, Jai Baba. I can, but I'm also in touch with Tushar. So, Nomita, please go ahead
I
because
can
Yes.
read
he's been logging
Namita.
in.
Yes, please. Yes, Vidyaji, please read. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Love. You have to scroll down because I'm looking at the screen and reading. Huh? Jai Baba. I love you, Baba. Life and love are inseparable from each other. Where there is life, there is love. Even the most rudimentary consciousness is always trying to burst out of its limitations and experience some kind of unity with other forms. Here the subtitle being Love Pervades Universe. Though each form is separate from other forms, in reality they are all forms of the same unity of life. The latent sense for this hidden inner reality indirectly makes itself felt even in the world of illusion through the attraction that one form has for another form. The law of gravitation, which all the planets and the stars are subject to, is in its own way a dim reflection of the love that pervades every part of this universe. Love in inanimate nature. Even the forces of repulsion are in truth expressions of love, since things are repelled from each other because they are more powerfully attracted to some other things. Repulsion in a negative consequence of positive attraction. Repulsion is a negative consequence of positive attraction. The forces of cohesion and affinity which prevail in the very constitution of matter are positive expressions of love. A striking example of love at this level is found in the attraction the magnet exercises for iron. All these forms of love are of the lowest type, since they are necessarily conditioned by the rudimentary consciousness in which they appear. In the animal world, love becomes more explicit in the form of conscious impulses that are directed toward different objects in the surroundings. Love in animal world. This love is instinctive and it takes the form of gratifying different desires through the appropriation of suitable objects. When a tiger seeks to devour a deer, it is in a very real sense in love with the deer. Sexual attraction is another form of love. At this level, all the expressions of love at this stage have one thing in common, namely, they all seek to satisfy some bodily impulse or desire through the object of love. Human love is much higher than all these lower forms of love because human beings have fully developed consciousness. Though human love is conscious with the lower subhuman forms of love, in one way it is different from them. Human love has to adjust to reason, for henceforth its operations have to be carried out side by side with a new factor which is reason. Sometimes human love manifests itself as a force that is divorced from reason and runs parallel to it. Sometimes it manifests itself as a force that gets mixed up with reason and comes into conflict with it. Finally, it expresses itself as a constituent of the harmonized whole where love and reason have been balanced and fused into an integral unity. Can you scroll down, please? Three combinations of love and reason. Thus, human love can enter into three types of combination with reason. In the first type, the sphere of thought and the sphere of love are kept as separate as possible. That is, the sphere of life is practically inaccessible to the operation of reason, and love is allowed little or no access to the sphere of thought. Complete separation between these two aspects of the spirit is of course never possible. But when there is an alternate functioning of love and reason oscillating in their predominance, we have love that is unillumined by reason, or reason unenlivened by love and leavened by love. In the second type, love and reason are both simultaneously operative, but they do not work in harmony with each other. Though this conflict creates confusion, it is a necessary phase in the evolution of the higher state where there is a real synthesis of love and reason. In the third type of love, the synthesis between love and reason is an accomplished fact, with the result that both love and reason are so completely transformed that they precipitate the emergence of a new level of consciousness that, compared to the normal human consciousness, is best described as super consciousness.
Shall we pause here to take any questions or discussion points?
Sure.
Anybody? Any questions or thoughts? The three types of love. And of course, before that, animal love and the difference between animal love and human love. Any questions or thoughts we can discuss and then continue.
What I can say, what I understand from the first type of love, where you keep love and reasoning separate. Is it reason or something else? Is it thought? Can you just go up once?
Yeah. In the first type, here.
Yeah, first type. It is. I heard
thought
it.
and love.
Thought and
love
yeah.
are kept
So
as separate as possible.
Yeah, so I think thought belongs to mind and love belongs to heart. And so we usually in normal circumstances, I see people love their families and approach the rest of the things with their mind. So we have few people in our life whom we love, and there are other things that are just approached from the logical mind. So I think this is what one thing that I could relate to in the normal phenomena of life. I think the rest of it is actually getting to a place where mind and thought, mind and heart becomes one, and love goes to a level of consciousness to super consciousness. So in super consciousness, when everything merges and the mind and heart also becomes one in a way, that's when the real love is possible. I think that's how I read it. Jai Baba.
Yeah, I think it's a little difficult to comprehend, in the sense that the second type, Baba says, they do not work in harmony with each other. Though this conflict creates confusion, it is a necessary phase in the evolution of the higher state where there is a real synthesis of love and reason. So the real synthesis of love and reason is the third type, which is best described as super consciousness. But so the first one is, he says, separate. That is, the sphere of thought and sphere of love are kept as separate as possible. That is, sphere of love is practically inaccessible to the operation of reason, and love is allowed little or no access to the sphere of thought, right? Yeah, I think any other thoughts from anybody? Any other questions?
How do we explain logical love? Love for reasons, So it says like logical love. What is logical love and what is love? How do we differentiate that? Anybody?
Can I say something here?
Go ahead.
The thought comes to me about logical love is logic is always connected with the intellect, and intellect cannot love. Love comes only from the either emotion part of the mind or from the heart. So logic is that is the explanation about logical love. Jai Baba.
Khalid, does that help?
Not really.
What is
I
other?
don't know.
What are you
If logic
comparing
comes
logical
from
love
the
with?
mind, then there is no love. As you say that it's the heart which loves.
What are you comparing, Khalid? What are you comparing logical love with? What are?
I'm comparing what is logical love. How can we define logical love?
Is there a logical word called logical love in the text we have just read?
No, I'm saying that reasons for love. That's the reason I'm putting reason as logic. So if there is something called can we define logical love or love,
is
reasonable
this
love?
term that pointing now, is it there in text here, or you are saying the reason for love is the logical love? I mean, is how you're reading?
If there is a reason for love, the reason is logic.
So your
There is a
reason for love, for example, you love your children. The logic is that they are your children. Can you go and love all the children on the street equally as you love your children? So when we apply, I mean, don't take it. I think it's very important to keep it, to understand it from our own lives and then take it higher to spiritual context. So when you take it, so in the second type, love and reason are both simultaneously operative, but they do not work in harmony with each other. But I think it's also about reading the rest of the lines, Karthik, here, when you spoke about in the third type of love, the synthesis between love and reason is an accomplished fact, with the result that both love and reason are so completely transformed. So the transformed is the word that is used, that it is not shifting, but it is totally changing into one. And all the actions, knowledge, thoughts, everything becomes love. Because at the end, everything is love, as Baba said. So even the things become love, people become love, the situations become love, like everything transforms into love. And that is experienced when we reach super consciousness stage, that you experience everything as love, and then you name it God's love, because we believe that only God has the capability or capacity to love unconditionally everything and everyone. So everything else in the human context is logical love, because we apply reasons to why we love this or that. There is a reason why we love, right? Without reasons, can you love someone?
Okay. Thank you, Vidyaji.
Jai Baba.
Okay, great. So we can continue.
Jai Baba to everyone. Tushar here.
Jai Baba, Tushar, how are you?
I am good and I hope everyone is good too. I am not able to open the video. Can you see me?
No, we can't see you, but we can imagine you.
Good, good.
So nice to have
No,
you back, Tusharji.
just click on the camera icon, which
It's not doing anything.
oh, okay.
Sort of locked.
Can we
Is
say,
it
Jay Baba, is not uh,
Maybe you are not audible. Breaking. Okay. Should we continue?
I
yeah, I
can't
think
see
we
the
should
text.
continue. Sherry, I request you to help Tushar if you can. Maybe a reconnection would help. Just try helping Sherry. Yeah.
So we'll continue, Karthik.
Karthik,
Vidya,
could you
I
share the
can't see
slide?
the text.
Share
Yes,
the
we can
screen.
start.
Jai
Screen
Baba,
share,
Neha.
please.
Hi, Jai Baba. Jai Baba Tushar.
Yeah, Baba.
Hey.
Yeah, so I got to read from here, right?
Yes, Vidyaji. Please go ahead.
Qualitative variety in love. Human love makes its appearance in the matrix of ego consciousness, which has countless desires. Love is colored by these factors in many ways. Just as we get an ever-changing variety of designs in a kaleidoscope by the various combinations of simpler elements, we find an almost limitless qualitative variety in the range of love owing to novel combinations of factors. And just as there are infinite shades of color in different flowers, there are diverse, delicate differences in human love. Lower forms of love. Human love is encircled by a number of obstructive factors such as infatuation, lust, greed, anger, and jealousy. In one sense, even these obstructive factors are either forms of lower love or the inevitable side results of these lower forms of love. Infatuation, lust, and greed might be looked upon as perverted and lower forms of love. In infatuation, a person is enamored of a sensual object. In lust, he develops a craving for the sensations in relation to it. And in greed, he desires to possess it. Of these three forms of lower love, greed has a tendency to extend from the original object to the means of obtaining it. Thus, a person becomes greedy for money or power or fame, which can be instruments for possessing the different objects that are craved. Anger and jealousy come into existence when these lower forms of love are thwarted or threatened to be thwarted. Please go down. Please scroll down. Yeah. These lower forms of love obstruct the release of pure love. The stream of love can never become clear and steady until it is disentangled from these limiting and perverting forms of lower love. Lower forms of love, enemy of the higher. The lower forms are the enemy of the higher. If consciousness is caught in the rhythm of the lower, it cannot emancipate itself from the self-created ruts, finding it difficult to get out of them and advance further. Thus, the lower forms of love continue to interfere with the development of the higher and have to be given up in order to allow for the untrammeled appearance of the higher form of love. love and infatuation. In the emergence of higher love from the shell of lower love is helped by the constant exercise of discrimination. Therefore, love has to be carefully distinguished from the obstructive factors of infatuation, lust, greed, and anger. In infatuation, the person is a passive.
Scroll down, Karthik.
Victim of the spell of conceived attraction for the object. In love, there is an act of love. Love and lust. Love is also different from lust. In lust, there is reliance upon a sensual object and consequent spiritual subordination of oneself to it. Whereas love puts one into direct and coordinate relation with the reality behind the form. Therefore, lust is experienced as being heavy and love is narrow. Love is experiencing as being light. In lust, there is narrowing down of life, and in love, there is an expansion of being. To have loved someone is like adding another life to your own. Your life is, and as it were, multiplied, and you virtually live in two centers. If you love the whole world, you vicariously live in the whole world, but in lust, there is an ebbing down of life and a general sense of hopeless dependence upon a form regarded as another. Thus, in lust, there is the accentuation of separateness and suffering, while in love, there is the feeling of unity and joy. Lust is dissipation, love is restoration. Lust is a craving of the senses, love is an expression of the spirit. Lust seeks fulfillment, but love experiences fulfillment. In lust, there is excitement, and in love, there is tranquility. Love is equally different from greed. Greed is possessiveness in all its gross and subtle forms. It seeks to appropriate persons and gross objects, as well as such abstract and intangible things as fame and where is it? I lost it. Where is it? Can you just put the cursor there? I can't see it.
Yeah, fame and power.
Name and power. In love, the annexation of another person to one's individual life is out of the question, and there is a free and creative outpouring that enlivens and replenishes the being of the beloved independently of any expectations for the self. We have the paradox that greed, which seeks the appropriation of another object, in fact, leads to the opposite result of bringing the self under the tutelage of the object. Whereas love, which aims at giving away the self to the object, in fact, leads to a spiritual incorporation of the beloved in the very being of the lover. In greed, the self tries to possess the object, but is itself possessed by the object. In love, the self offers itself to the beloved without any reservations. But in that very act, it finds that it has included the beloved in its own being. Infatuation, lust, and greed constitute a spiritual malady which is often rendered more virulent by the aggravating symptoms of anger and jealousy. Pure love, in sharp contradistinction, is the bloom of spiritual perfection. Human life is so tethered by this limiting conditions that spontaneous appearance of pure love from within becomes impossible. Pure love awakened through grace. So, when such pure love arises in the aspirant, it is always a gift. Pure love, pure love arises in the heart of the aspirant in response to the descent of grace from a perfect master. When pure love is first received as gift of the master, it becomes lodged in the consciousness of the aspirant like a seed in favorable soil, and in the course of time, the seed develops into a plant and then into a full-grown tree. Spiritual preparation. The descent of the grace of the master is conditioned, however, by preliminary spiritual preparation of the aspirant. The descent of the grace of the master is conditioned, however, by the preliminary spiritual preparation of the aspirant. This preliminary preparation for grace is never complete until the aspirant has built into his spiritual makeup some divine attributes. For example, when a person avoids backbiting and thinks more of the good points in others than of their bad points, and when he can practice supreme tolerance and desires good for others, even at cost to himself, he is ready to receive the grace of the Master. One of the greatest obstacles hindering this spiritual preparation of the aspirant is worry. When with supreme effort, this obstacle of worry is overcome, a way is paved for the cultivation of the divine attributes that constitute the spiritual preparation of the disciple. As soon as the disciple is ready, the grace of the Master descends. For the Master, who is the ocean of divine love, is always on the lookout for the soul in whom his grace will fructify. The kind of love that is awakened by the grace of the Master is a rare privilege. The mother who is willing to sacrifice all and to die for her child, and the martyr who is prepared to give up his very life for his country are indeed supremely noble, but they have not necessarily tasted this pure love born through the grace of the Master. Pure love, very rare. Even the great yogis who sit in caves and on mountain tops and are completely absorbed in deep samadhi, meditative trance, do not necessarily have this precious love. Pure love, awakened through the grace of the Master, is more valuable than any other stimulus that may be utilized by the aspirant. Such love not only combines in itself the merits of all the disciplines, but excels them all in its efficacy to lead the aspirant to the goal. When this love is born, the aspirant has only to desire that it is to be Karthik. It is to be united with the divine beloved. Pure love excels all disciplines. Such withdrawals of consciousness from all other desires lead to infinite purity. Therefore, Nothing purifies the aspirant more completely than this love. The aspirant is always willing to offer everything for the divine beloved, and no sacrifice is too difficult for him. All his thoughts are turned away from the self and come to be exclusively centered on the divine beloved. Through the intensity of this ever-growing love, he eventually breaks through the shackles of the self and becomes united with the beloved. This is the consummation of love. When love has thus found its fruition, it has become divine. Divine love is qualitatively different from human love. Human love is for the many in the one. The divine love is for the one in the many. Divine love and human love. Human love leads to innumerable complications and tangles, but divine love leads to integration and freedom. In divine love, the personal and the impersonal aspects are equally balanced. In human love, the two aspects are in alternating ascendancy. When the personal note is predominant in human love, it leads to utter blindness to the intrinsic worth of other forms. When, as in a sense of duty, love is predominantly impersonal, it often makes one cold, rigid, and mechanical. A sense of duty comes to the individual as an external constraint on behavior, but in divine love, there is unrestrained freedom and unbounded spontaneity. Human love in its impersonal and impersonal aspects is limited. Divine love, with its fusion of the personal and the impersonal aspects, is infinite in being and expression. Even the highest type of human love is subject to the limitations of the individual nature, which persists till the seventh plane of involution of consciousness. Divine love arises after the disappearance of the individual mind and is free from the trammels of the individual nature. In divine love, the lover becomes one with the beloved. In human love, the duality of the lover and the human love, um, in human love, the duality of the lover and the beloved persists. But in divine love, the lover and the beloved becomes one. At this stage, the aspirant has stepped into the domain of duality and at this stage, the aspirant has stepped out of the domain of duality and becomes one with God. For divine love is God. When the lover and the beloved are one, that is the end and the beginning. It is for love that the whole universe sprang into existence, and it
Karthik, would you scroll it down, please?
Scrolling is slow. I'm sorry about that. Maybe it's my network.
is for the sake of love that it is kept going. Universe sprang into existence for love. God descends into the realm of illusion because the apparent duality of the beloved and the lover is eventually contributory to his conscious enjoyment of his own divinity. The development of love is conditioned and sustained by the tension of duality. God has to suffer apparent differentiation into a multiplicity of souls, and in order to carry on the game of love, they are his own forms, and in relation to them, he at once assumes the roles of the divine lover and the divine beloved. As the divine beloved, he is the real and the ultimate object of their appreciation. As the divine lover, he is their real and ultimate savior, drawing them back to himself. Thus, the whole world of duality is only an illusion. That illusion has come into being for a significant purpose. Dynamics of love. Love is a reflection of God's unity in the world of duality. It constitutes the entire significance of creation. If love were excluded from life, all the souls in the world would assume complete externality to each other, and the only possible relations and contacts in such a loveless world would be superficial and mechanical. It is because of love that the contacts and relations between individual souls become significant. It is love that gives meaning and value to all the happening in the world of duality. But while love gives meaning to the world of duality, it is at the same time a standing challenge to duality. As love gathers strength, it generates creative restlessness and becomes the main driving power of that spiritual dynamic which ultimately succeeds in restoring the consciousness, the original unity of being.
Jai Baba.
Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
I have a
Very
question.
beautiful.
Jai Baba.
Karthik,
So go ahead,
take it to the
Sunil.
previous page, divine love and human love.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're showing the Trello. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm behind. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Are you seeing the section you wanted,
Yes.
Sunil?
Uh,
Okay, go ahead.
Not exactly the one, but I have the book with me, so I can read from there. It's just the previous page before the closing. So, divine love and human love. Yeah, yes, that's right. So it says human love leads to innumerable complications and tangles, but divine love leads to integration and freedom. In divine love, the personal and the impersonal aspects are equally balanced. In human love, the two aspects are in alternating ascendancy. So, can somebody explain the personal and impersonal aspects of love? Anybody who understood maybe can throw some light on it?
So there is a big difference between the divine love and the human love, right? The human love, it's always connected with some strings attached. I want something. I want some gratification from this love. I love my children because I feel it's my family. I love my lover because I want to be married to her. Or I love my father because he is my father. There's always strings attached to the human love. Whereas divine love doesn't have any strings. It's pure. Can you put up that screen? Yeah, thank you. So the divine love, that's what Baba says is, it's even personally or Karthik, can you put up that, please? I'm just reading from there.
Baba is testing you, Raviji.
My memory is so poor, I only read and talk. So is the divine love, whether it is personal or impersonal aspects, are very, very, very balanced because there's nothing to, nothing any that mind calls for. So that's what he's comparing, divine love and human love.
Mm-hmm. Personal, I'm trying to interpret it. Personal means selfishness, impersonal, like you want something out of love when you love your child or something, and impersonal is you're giving.
Yes, but without expectation. It's just.
But in divine love, the personal and impersonal aspects are equally balanced. So, but in divine love, you don't expect anything.
Yeah, even
so where is the balance? Yeah.
See, even when you are exercising divine love, you're still hungry, you're still working as a human being. So whether you're giving, whether you're doing any impersonal thing or any personal things, as long as you are using the divine love, it's kind of balanced. You're not selfish anymore. You are not looking for any selfish. When you're hungry, you're eating to satisfy the hunger, to satisfy the body, to sustain the body. See, that is the idea behind it. Whereas if we are in love with the food, we want to enjoy the food, right? For the self-gratification. That's a lustful action. And I want more food so that I want to enjoy more. So there is that pleasure part of it in the mind. Whereas with the divine love, you eat with a duty. It doesn't matter whether you are given a burger or a pizza or just dal and rice. You are satisfied with that. There's one example I'm getting. I'm sure others can throw any other.
We transcend from everything, we go beyond everything. So once we go beyond all the materialistic and worldly thing, the divine love starts. So there is no need of any, it disappears automatically. Selfishness and all those aspects disappear automatically in divine love.
Yeah,
Jai
Baba.
That's good.
Just to add to what has been said, I think in divine love there is no expectations. There is absolutely no expectations. It's beyond expectations. Whereas in human love there is all elements of some expectations.
See, only expectation we may have is in the divine love. Our master, our guru, or our beloved Baba is pleased. He is the God personification. That is the only expectation, probably. Not expectation, but it's the intention, I want to please Baba.
You can put it as goal, the goal of divine love.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
So just one question, just for our own intellectual knowledge. Every human being has got an animal love and a human love and a divine love to some form, shape, to some people at least. So is it fair to say that we are all transcending towards having a divine life? However, at different stages, we do experience all forms of it.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think it all depends upon the sanskaras one has. So what kind of a love you're showing depends upon what kind of sanskaras the individual has. If he has realization and he wants to use the divine love, they use. Or the only other choice, if somebody doesn't have a divine love, their love is more personal love. It's more selfish love or self-gratification. Yes, there is evolution.
Jai Baba, we have a lot of things to do today. So perhaps we can end this discussion here and move on to the next segment.
Loving God is utter important. Sorry, Nomita.
No
Loving
problem.
Baba is divine love. So that's the, I think, culmination of this paragraph, to love Baba more and more. That's divine
And yet
love.
more.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
And yet
Jai Baba.
Go ahead, Namita ji.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Go ahead, Nomita.
Can we have everyone? This is the end of reading. Now we'll have everyone on screen, please. Jai Baba. So
Yeah.
we'll close our eyes for a second or a minute, and then I will ask something. You just close your eyes. Jai Baba, you can open your eyes. I'll start with whoever I can see on screen. Next to me from my computer, I can see Vidyaji. Vidyaji, one word after reading about love from Baba's discourses, one word that stayed with you. One or two words, maybe three. Anything that comes to your mind.
You're muted, Vidyaji.
God.
Jai Baba. Thank you. Raviji?
Divine love.
Jai Baba. Khalid ji?
Meher Baba.
I can't read this name.
Jayanti.
Jayanti, what about you?
Divinity, blissfulness,
Jai Baba. Sunil ji, you?
Surrender in Baba's feet.
Jai Baba. I can't see anybody now. I don't know how to take it further. Please keep
Click
your
on that,
cameras on. Like
click
Ravi
on
ji,
the
my memory is related to what I see.
Namita, click on the top with the two pictures, show participants, and then you will get the whole list.
All right, that's good. Okay, then where did I reach? Ashok ji, what comes to your mind?
Perfect master.
Perfect master. Jai Baba. Sanjay ji, how about you?
Love. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Neha, how about you?
Meher Baba.
Jai Baba. Then Kamaji, how about you?
Rama is in higher planes, so he needs a break.
Okay, whenever he's ready. Raviji, did you say?
Yeah.
Karthik is next. I'll call the names.
Okay, yeah, better. Okay, you call.
Karthik.
Yeah, I thought of Meher Baba.
Okay. Khalid.
Yes, I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Namita.
Baba.
Okay. Rajesh Dar. Rajesh.
Rajesh.
You're on mute, Rajesh.
Rajesh is eating breakfast.
Ram Krishna.
Beautiful.
Okay. Samira.
everything.
Sanjay.
Sanjay is done. Jai Baba.
Sanjay is done.
Love, I said.
Sunil Dar.
Surrender in Baba's feet.
I
said
think
earlier.
you said it. Tushar.
No thought. Absolutely no thought.
This is on higher plane, Tusharji.
I do not know where I am.
Vipul.
Divine love.
Jai Baba.
How much is still left over?
And Vidya also is left. Vidya ji.
Mamaji is left and Vidya said it. Mamaji is left.
Mama D, one in the many.
Sherry.
One in the many.
Don't forget Sherry.
Oh, I think some names went above. Okay. They can voluntarily, people who have not said, maybe voluntarily call up.
Sherry,
you're muted.
Am I audible?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Giving.
What?
Giving.
Go give it.
Giving.
Mamaji, did you speak up? Mamaji is busy a bit.
Covered that, but I'll repeat. One in the many.
We couldn't hear that very clearly, Mamaji.
He just got video bombed.
I'll come back.
He's saying one in many.
One in many.
One in the many.
Jai Baba. So now that we have internalized or expressed what we feel after reading this and what comes to our mind now, I will ask Karthik to talk about the inception of the group, and I will warmly welcome Neha, Tusharji, and Karthik to say how this all came about. Over to you, Karthik, Neha, and Tusharji. Karthik,
Thank
you
you,
want to come in?
Nomita. I'd request Neha and Tushar to talk first because they were the ones who came up with it. So, in any order, whoever is ready, Tushar and Neha, and then I will also summarize what we have done in the last 1 year after that.
Jai Meher Baba. Well, it was all spontaneous. There was nothing planned, It was all spontaneous. Tushar?
Yeah.
Okay. It was 2020 February. I have visited Mehrabad for a library committee program. It was a 3-day program, and there were a few people from California, a few speakers from California. And in the last session on God Speaks, Mr. Vadva says that I would like to have a full day session on God Speaks from morning to night. I like to complete the book. I don't know why he was in such a hush-hush, but he wanted to complete God Speaks in 1 day. So he suggested that, and few of us said, yes, why not? And that's how it started. We had a beautiful workshop, I think on 13th of February. And the entire day, that was something, it was all designed by Baba. There were one girl from Pune, Mumbai, Dehradun, Delhi, Russia, UK, China. From, one person from each place. It was very well organized kind of group. It was very different group. And from morning to by 8:30, the book was, it was very beautiful session. It's in rhythm and it was going very beautifully. And we had lunch in between. That's it. That was the only gap. And that was just before this, Corona and everything. It was in February. So I don't know why Baba wanted to have this session in 1 day, or it was very beautiful. And I was talking about this at MPR with Karthik and Tusharji, and I think there was one more girl, and Aisha Tamboli was there. And I was talking about it, and I think it's all Karthik who took it seriously, and he said, let's go online. That time there was no concept of online or having Baba programs or Baba meetings or Baba books reading online. But still, when Karthik suggested, we all said, yes, why not? Tusharji said, yes, let's go online. So that's how it's all started, you know. And it's the credit goes to Karthik because he was the only person who was really sincere about it and who organized everything, who designs everything. So, and one could see how Baba works, you know, in this, how God speaks, travels, his books, his energy works with that group, with us, and how Namita joined from Singapore and from South and from people from Mumbai, from Pune. Uh, it's all as it's something, you know, we are doing more than what we think, basically. This is what I feel. Just think that we are reading Baba's books, but Baba word, Baba's sentence has so much power in it, so much power in it. Apart from reading, apart from having these sessions, we are, I think, doing much more that we don't realize with our limited minds. And I'm really thankful to Karthik for being regular and had this beautiful session and having this MBA group, coming up with this name, MBA group, Meher Baba Awakens group. So that was it. I was just the instrumental to everything. I was not the whole hard work is by Karthik. So, and thank you everyone. I think that's it. That's what from my
Jai
side.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Jai.
Tusharji, would you like to come in, please?
Yeah, see, I was specially there for God Speaks. It's the first time I went alone to Mehrabad. And I finished reading God Speaks over about 11 days stay. And during that stay, we had formed a sort of a group. Neha, Karthik, and some others were there. So on this breakfast table, this thought came from Neha actually. Let's start this group. That time there was no lockdown, or no one had thought that the situation will change so much. Let's do this, and it will be unique thing. No one has done it online earlier. And I knew about Karthik being a tech guy. I met him a couple of times during the last 4 years. So I said, I was just an intermediary. I just passed on that thought to Karthik, and we all were spontaneous to say, yes, let's do it. More people agreed, of course, they did join. This is it here today.
Jai Baba. Thank you so much. Your intent has helped so many of us. Baba's planted this seed in Neha, yourself, Karthik, and we are very, very grateful for this thought and implementation. Jai Baba. Karthik, would you like to share with Baba's grace
Yes.
what we went through the journey for this past year?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. And is my screen visible?
Yes, Baba is visible.
Yes, great. So what we've done is, I think Tushar and Neha brought back the memories. It was MPR Dining Hall that started it all. I'll cover that a bit. But before that, time is relative. Hours and even one full year means nothing. It is neither real nor absolute. So if we, as students on the path, let us not get too excited about this. It's a good thing to know that we have done a year, but it's nothing finally, right? More importantly, what we have learned, what we have internalized, what we have taken away is probably more important, and how we get closer to consciously realizing God and get towards union with God is the only focus, and that should be the way we approach things. So how was this seeded? I think Neha gave a very good coverage for it, but that's a photograph at the bottom of the God Speaks session she talked about. Thanks for the date. I was not aware of the date. 13th February is when that event happened, where she got that idea. And then Baba did the rest, right? So she talked about it to Tushar. Tushar brought it to me. And then this Rolling Stone gathered a little more moss. We went to Calcutta quickly. Both Tushar and me visited attended the Calcutta Savas. In fact, planning in NPR, and then we decided to. And then Kama also joined. And he also said he would love to be part of. We started on the 14th of March, right? So 14th of March 2020. And like Nehaji said, there was no lockdown, there was no thought of everything going on. But milestones are useful. So let's look in the rear view and see what we've covered, right? So what we done in the last one? I think we did pretty well. We did God Speaks twice in this online format, but I'm sure a lot of us have read a lot more personally, and I hope that all of us gained something in both these. We also read Beams, the book, twice. We read Everything and the Nothing once online as a group, and Discourses, we are actually in the second read as we speak. So we've finished barely about 2-3 chapters, right? So I think we covered some decent ground in the last 1 year. The way we worked it out was, if you look at it, the yellow portions are the periods that we actually had the calls. Right? So initially it was supposed to be
you didn't list the bits.
I missed something. Thank you. Which one?
Beams, sorry.
Yeah, I had Beams. The second one is Beams. Beams from Meher. The second one.
Yeah, Mamaji, the second book is Beams.
Yes. So getting back, so we started with the weekend dates initially, but just 2 weeks after we started, we realized that the whole world, at least the world that was on MBA, Singapore and India at that time, was already getting into serious lockdown. So he proposed and then everybody agreed. So it became a daily affair. So if you see from March 29th or so, we made it a daily affair and it went on till August 9. So that was no mean achievement, but I think it was just Baba. I remember those days only. We did this so early in the morning, but it was the best way to start our day. And by the time we reached August, obviously things started getting normalized and people started getting back to work. And there was a proposal to again revert back to weekends, and that's how we did weekends from that point. And here we are. We are done with almost a year now. But I think the great thing is it was all Baba's work, and he decides the timing, he decides the motivation, he decides the team to put in. So this is what is the time we have spent. Personally, I had a fear of God Speaks. I tried a couple of times. I just did not get anywhere close to that. When I say I conquered it, I conquered only my fear. I have not conquered God Speaks. Nobody can conquer God Speaks. Okay, so now I know that the planes, they sounded so esoteric, but at least now I'm able to relate to what they are. I could relate to sanskaras, a term and understand it a little more. Gross, subtle, and mental became a lot more common parlance, and I can relate to what it is. In fact, in our group, we even make a lot of jokes using these terms, which gives me so much of joy because it means that we have internalized and we feel so comfortable with those terms that we are using them in jokes. So I think we have done well. But the bigger victories were keeping this group together for the 1 year, right? In spite of all the pressures, we had all the pressures that exist in the subjective universe were also subject to MBA. So we had Maya, we had ego, we had selfishness, we had desires, we had lust, greed, and anger all come and play on us. But yet Baba prevailed each time, and we kept together. And here I was playing the referee, showing yellow cards, red cards, giving away trophies, and somehow we came and finished a year now. And I think a year is just a small step. I'm sure we'll keep. So how does MBA help me, right? Of course, as I said, it got rid of my fear, and I feel a lot more comfortable and confident reading more and more of Baba's literature, which is the biggest plus. He also help keep me together in what has been one of the most stressful and trying periods of my personal and professional life. It has been tough. I think MBA has helped me both from the learnings perspective, the group perspective, and also trying to implement those learnings in my life. It has been really, really useful to me, and I thank Baba for it. I really look forward to weekends, and so that we have these 4 hours of calls, and I have a interest and motivation to make this better and accessible to more and more people. So I look forward to all your help and support to make this bigger and bigger. It's your group. It's your group, and let's make it constructively better and better so that more can benefit from it. And of course, I have set my target. Target is very clear. It's again an inspiration from Karma. Minimum is OM. OM is ordinary mukti, right? So Baba, please, ordinary mukti. Okay, so that's MBA and me. So I think continue to lead us, Baba. Give us the gift of learning of all. Your grace in Baba's love, we submit. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Thank you very much, Karthik. What a beautiful sharing and what a beautiful journey for all of us. We have walked many janmas together in this 1 year. This time is very valuable for us, maybe our many lifetimes have been shortened with this journey together. Very grateful to Baba and everybody on this group. Now, moving forward, we will have maximum of 3 minutes for us to share, for anybody who's been on this, to share how this journey has helped us or what has it done to us. Any sharing you want. So 3 minutes for each of us. I will, first of all, I will ask Khalid ji to speak. Somebody has to
Jai
keep
Baba,
3
everybody.
minutes.
Jai Baba to everybody. Prior to this MBA group, I was invited by Karthik in the month of May. So prior to this, my association, I would not say association, I could only feel Baba, and it was probably a one-way impact in my day-to-day life. The feeling of Baba was always there, but through MBA, I came to hear Baba and I came to see Baba. I came to hear Baba through all his words, his words, his literature. Through his literature, I could hear him, and all the various God speaks is his manual for a manual for life. It's manual for life, and through these courses, it's how you go through this manual and how you achieve it. So in this group, I have learned to hear Baba, and the second thing which I have come or I have gained from this group is I have seen Baba. I have seen Baba as an intellect. Thank you, Kama. I have seen Baba as compassion. Karthik, Nomita, Sunil. I've seen Baba as a good friend, Ravi, Cherry. So that's what I get from this group, So through this group MBA in this 1 year, and hopefully, and insha Baba, again in the coming years and coming days and coming weeks and coming months, I'll see more of Baba, I'll hear more of Baba, and it's all Meher Baba. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Khalid. Can you say the languages? What languages do you speak?
Hindi, Bengali, English.
Okay, so in Bengali, can you say I love Baba?
আমি বাবাকে খুব ভালোবাসি.
আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি also.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Nomita.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you for your sharing. Dr. Raviji, please share. You have had a very long association. I always remember when you talk about your father's last moments and how he kept. This comes to me many times in meditation also. How he kept on remembering Baba, and you say that this is your only desire, that when you are leaving the body, you want to, this whole exercises. It keeps on coming to me. So your journey has been longer than newbies like us. Baba knows. In 3 minutes, please tell us, has anything changed with you by having this MBA degree with you, with us? Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Nomita ji. Absolutely. This group helped me a lot. I used to read, long time ago, I used to read Baba books and all. But the last 10 years, what happened was I got associated with Chinmaya Mission. I happened to be in the board, and I used to take a lot of responsibilities. So I used to read a lot of scriptures and all, so that for some reason I stopped reading Baba books. Only book I read was God Speaks. Everyone was saying it was difficult. It was difficult. I took it as a challenge. I took quantum mechanics, Kama was talking about, a challenge to read. In the same way, I took God Speaks and did the same way by writing diagrams and notes and all those things. I finished it. And that was the only book I read in the last 10 years. And then actually Vidyaji was the one who told me to come and join. I had a question to Vidyaji, I don't remember what the question was. And then she told me to come and join. At the same time, I happened to listen to Karthik's talk to the Bengalore's group, Sahwas. And then I appreciated Karthik, and he also suggested that I should join. That is how I came and joined. And I enjoyed every day sitting, and I got used to it. I got hooked up to that, being in Baba's love. Being in Baba's love. And discourses also, number of times I took it, read, and I used to feel, oh my God, Baba, going to make English so simple. I used to say that and close the book. But after going through this group, I read again, and I got a lot out of it. What do I say? I stopped drinking. It's more than a year since, because every day I used to come, and there's no point in drinking and coming here. So I stopped completely, and I'm not having any more urge to drink. That's one good thing. And yes, we had different, as Karthik was saying, different situations. I am also, I'm not the greatest guy. I had my own weaknesses, but helped me. Most of you guys helped me to control, to give it to Baba, to see Baba, all those things. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Raviji, I think you speak Malayalam. Am I correct in saying that?
No, Telugu.
Telugu. So would you like to say I love Baba in Telugu then?
Babani premistunnanu.
Vanakkam. Very nice. Thank you.
No, not Tamil. That is the Telugu. Telugu, yeah, Telugu. Babani ప్రేమిస్తున్నాను.
Vanakkam is Tamil, yeah.
Tamil.
Jai
That
Baba.
is Cherry.
Thank you. Cherry Ji, tell us about your journey in this group and your love towards Baba.
You're muted.
Nomita, so
Cherry.
sorry. Can I come back after one person? I'm just frying something and I don't want that to be.
Sure, no problem. When you are ready, just raise your hands. I'll move on. Okay, Ashok Ji, I would like to have you on screen, and Ashok Ji, Pranam. Tell us what Baba's journey together with all of us has done to you. We cannot hear you.
Unmute, Ashok.
Yeah. No, you are muted. Yes.
Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
This has been a really phenomenal journey. Getting together with some known old friends and making some very good new friends. And so I would call it that it is divine intervention, because people from diverse geographies could come together and we could have very good special times, special moments. So I think it's basically this divine intervention which has brought so many souls together, drop souls together. And for me, even reading about God Speaks used to put me to sleep, very frankly. It's very heavy. And but I also tried putting it under my pillow, and so that I could get some wisdom out of it. But the real reading and the real absorption, whatever little we could do in 1 year, happened because of this group. And especially I joined on 1st April. I missed the first few sessions. And from 1st April till August, I was there almost 99.9%. And it was really, and I used to look forward to it, and it became a routine. It became so much of a routine that everybody at my home also knew that, okay, this is what it's going to be from 7:30 onwards. And in between, I also had to join into Nomitaji's Singapore channel on Facebook, where a lot of her, the way she dresses up Baba, the love and the affection for Baba comes out there. So it's been a very nice journey, and it's only in this 1 year that I could concentrate and go through God Speaks, discourses, beams, and a lot of learning has come up from these sessions. And and I can only say that coming together is the beginning, and keeping together is progress, but working together is success. And I think we all are going to work towards that. And it's one world, one family. It's Baba's family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I would end with that.
Jai Baba. But you speak Marathi, don't you?
I understand Marathi.
But what do you speak? What is your mother tongue?
My mother tongue is Hindi, Marwari.
Okay, then in Marathi you must say Baba, I love you. Otherwise you will be expelled from Pune. Do you know how to say?
I think I'll skip
Can
that.
you say it in Marwadi as well? Say it in Marwadi.
Yeah. Marwadi is a language.
Yeah, Marwadi is a language. It's a
Yeah.
My understanding of Marwadi is rich people. So
yeah, they're rich by heart.
that's good. So okay, you can say it in any language.
Any language. I'll prefer to say it in Bengali, because Bengali is a very sweet language. So I say, Baba, ami apnake bhalobashi.
Thank you very much, Ashok ji. I will now call upon Kamaji.
And this is my symbol for the group. This is really the symbol for the group. Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Kamaji, if you are able to come online, then I would like to ask you. I will. Can someone
Yeah,
find Jai Baba? Jai Baba Kamaji?
I'm still in Dehradun. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can we see you also, Kama? Jai Baba.
Yes. See, then the voice will get garbled, because the network is very poor. I'm actually very fortunate to be in the Mayor Baba's center in Dehradun. So right behind me is Baba's statue, believe it or not, called Mayor Prasad Center, because there are two centers here. So let me tell you my perspective of this discussion group. Thanks to Karthik and others. I think this has been wonderful because one is when you are in a discussion group, you get other viewpoints and you're able to widen the horizon. So for me, in a very clinical sense, I've said that before, discourses is about how, the practical, how to live in the 21st century, and God speaks gives you the who is God, what is God, and why God. So taking both discourses and God speaks, it helps us to ourselves to our practical day-to-day life. That has been a biggest awakening for me, because as Karthik himself said, that when you're going through personal and professional challenges, and also physical and mental challenges, discourses help me to understand why certain things happen to you, irrespective of you not being directly or indirectly involved with. So it has been a great, for me, reading discourses and God. I also learned patience, of other opinions, and all that. So that was very important. The biggest struggle has been between my what do you call, the intuitive heart and the, and so thanks to Vidya and so many others, I've been able to slowly open up, or actually what say it is grace to broaden our own horizon. So I've been able to kind of in human love, pure love, and divine love, which we have been talking about. For me, the pure love comes, as Baba has said, when Vidya read love, it clearly says that unless infatuation, lust, greed, anger, jealousy, they can add fear and worry, the seven deadly sins are eliminated from our pure love is given by the master or the avatar. I believe starts from the first plane of divine something when divine love is in the seventh plane when you reach God realization. Between first to the sixth plane, it is the heart love, as we know in the fifth God. You think so. The other question is, me being scientific, I feel that out there in the world who are scientific, who also are spiritually inclined, it would be great for us to, for them, I can understand the universal laws of relationship between laws of spirit and laws and the and material. So that is what I feel is great about this.
We can't hear you, Kamaji. Hello, Jai Baba. We lost you in between.
Yeah, the early part of it was really bad, but I'll just summarize. He's here. I mean, I'll just add the interesting detail, which is basically that he's right now in Meher Prasad, living in the Meher Prasad Center in Dehradun, one of the two centers. He happened to say, tell me that. So it's kind of nice to know that, but obviously network has not helped us get a full understanding of what he said.
Jai Baba. We'd kindly request you, Kamaji, to take a photo of where you are and post it on the chat so that we can also get some benefit of you being there. Let's be selfish here a bit. Jai Baba. Now, I must admit to the next person I'm going to ask to share is my most favorite person in the group, Mama Ji. Mama Ji, can we have you online and please share your journey with us?
You know, Namita, when you said the most favorite person, Sunil was smiling, thinking you're going to call upon him. Huh?
No, I think he knows me too well.
So his surprise, he called Mamaji. Sunil disappointed.
Disappointed, so disappointed.
Be nice to Namita.
No, Mamaji knows that he's our favorite. Mamaji also knows that.
Accepted, yes.
You know, one other thing I want to say, most of us are wearing blue today.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, the
Very
top
interesting.
color.
Wow.
Yes, top color of the flag.
Yeah, blue, correct.
It's just
Oh my
a
God.
trivia.
Sanjay too.
Yes. Okay, Mamaji, over to you.
Okay. My journey or Baba's journey through me. That's how I should put it across. Because 1 year before, I was in touch and go with Baba. Baba was with touch and go with me because of Karthik's prodding now and then, giving me some literature, talking to me about Baba now and then. I got Baba instilled in me. And then he is propelling me so fast now, the last 1 year. It is really fast forward path movement. So initially, I used to read once in a while. With this group, every day it has become a sort of a ritual to read at least a few pages. And in this journey, what has happened is I have done a lot of spiritual shopping, as I already told earlier, I think. So, as they say, master comes to a disciple. So that is what is happening to me. I think Baba is coming into me, prodding me into doing so many things, and then trying to understand Baba in me. That is what has gone through this whole year. And if I graphically put it across, it started as 2 hours a day in the quarantine, 4 hours week later. But as I went through that, I have added so many other, say, Baba related studies by Baba himself, and especially the early morning sessions with the Singapore group has been a great advantage for me, especially only the bhajans part of it. The reading part of it is difficult for me to follow, but bhajans keep me engaged. And then later, I wandered from Bombay Center and other places, started participating in the group discussions there and all that. So this has been a growth pattern, what has happened over the year. And in this group, what that I have gone through is that I was grounded so much in science, it was difficult for me to say assimilate the spiritual and the science part of it. That has really happened in toto almost. Baba has attacked me there because I was a bit hesitant at that level, and Baba caught me there and then say convincing me that science and spirituality are the same, and then spirituality is a form of science. The, the roots of it are all in science, and we have to go through that in a scientific way. That is what we are doing here in the last 1 year. We have been learning in a very structured way. And say, if we go to the last chart of Baba, we had known that cycle of evolution to a large extent from school onwards, part and part of that Darwin's theory and all that. But the assimilation of that to the understanding that I am God, God is in me, or I am in God. Through this chart, I was able to say assimilate that to a large extent now. Then getting convinced that I am Baba and Baba is in me. That is my journey. Thank you, the group, for all this.
Thank
Jai
you for
Baba.
sharing, Mamaji. You are a breath of fresh air in this group, and we value our journey towards Baba, towards our own selves together. Jai Baba. Now I will ask Rajesh Dhar, my baby brother, to speak. Rajesh, are you there, Raju? Okay, we'll come back to him. Now I will call upon Sanjay ji to share his experience, Baba experience, with all of us drop souls towards Baba.
Jai Baba, everyone.
Jai Baba.
Karthik has been like a Baba sent agent into my life. So that's how I came in touch with him when I met him in Doha. And we have been in touch, but we were not in touch so closely, like on a weekly or a monthly basis also. Just rarely we touched upon each other. And in Feb, when this group started, he asked me, send me a message that we are doing it on a daily basis. And then I said, I need to go to office and I am doing my own readings, so maybe I'll not be able to do. But then the godsend opportunity came that the lockdown started and he pinged me again. And then we got into reading the books, and it has been an amazing journey. Of course, the knowledge part of it, what Baba has said, is there. And I only assume that whatever words that we are reading of Baba are making changes in us, which we may or may not know. So at least I do not say that I have changed drastically after a year, that I am a very different person. I don't think so, actually. I still remain the same. And it's just the beginning of the journey. It's a very long way to go to make the real changes, the to-do things, as I always say. I mean, there are a lot of things yet to be changed, but the journey is in the right way, and transformation must be happening. That's what I think so. It's not that we get to realize that transformation. But yes, I am more calmer, more friendlier, ready to absorb things in much better way. That's all I'll say. That's it. And great to have friendship with you all. It's a great family feeling, meeting you every weekends. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you very much for that.
Jai Baba. Thank you so much.
I thought you were calmer to begin with. I didn't know we have made you calm.
Maybe.
Okay, I appreciate your acknowledgement. Okay, Vidya ji, would you come online and share your experience with us? Jai Baba.
Jai Baba to everyone. Thank you, Nomita. Karthik, I must give all this credit to you, because it's the hands that really make difference in this world. So you are the ones who have put it together, this, and I know you have gone through a lot of things in your life. Just a minute, I just need to switch on the battery. My laptop is dying. So I really appreciate and I thank Karthik for maintaining it, sustaining it, and being with it. And second, I would like to thank Kama who has been continuously contributing through his learning process. I mean, while he was learning, he was also sharing, and he's still doing that, like irrespective, without any ifs and buts. He could come openly to say what he was thinking, feeling, and growing in his own life journey. So I think people, Baba's two hands are Karthik and Kama in this MBA group. And Nomita and Sunil, I mean, I think they are the ones who have been very committed to this journey of making this MBA group successful by staying come what may. And I remember Sunil in his first talk, he was saying that he was very committed, and he wanted to keep this initiative going, and he lived his word, and that's what matters in Baba's life. So I think Baba's words. So I think thanks to Sunil and Nomita, I think she has been able to silently stay in many sessions. I've seen she's not speaking a word, but making her presence felt by everyone that Nomita is around. So on many occasions, I saw she was also silent on that day, and she was not speaking up in the group, but I think her presence was felt. It's not about, I mean, I'm not talking about myself here. I think you must be wondering why I'm talking about other people. But I think it's about other people that we need to, I want to acknowledge people who brought me here. I just came into this group because Kama just asked me to come, and reading particularly, I mean, I've read God Speaks and Discourses by Baba's grace that I've been able to do it, but then it was again Baba's words. I mean, learning is, I mean, it's too much. It's always there. You can learn every time you read. You get something more, and it's like an ocean that you go deep dive every time. You get some new pearls from the ocean's bed. So it's like that. So I mean, I really appreciate that. What MBA has done to me is like it kept me engaged through the lockdown period. I could think of Baba more and more and more, and yet still more. And the morning session continued to go into my life throughout the day, and I could stay in his thoughts and live his words, try to get internalize it more and more and try to live that. There have been many experiences in this group while we were interacting, but thanks to each one who has contributed to my growth, and this has really been a very good journey for me. I also thank Ravi, Khalid, Cherry, each one of you who have really contributed to my growth. Yeah, so I love to, I mean, I'm sorry that I'm not been able to come on the group every day. There's a lot of work that is going on in my life as ever. So it's been very, very busy times, but I always think on Saturday, Sunday that has been going. And some days I'm just sleeping at 7:30 because I was tired all the week. So there's no, I mean, that is a real thing that sometimes I just sleep on Saturday, Sunday morning. So otherwise, that's about it. I thank everyone once again. Baba's love prevails in this group. Wherever Baba's name is there, Baba's love prevails. So love you all. And bhalobashi, all of you.
Jai Baba, thank you so much.
Jai Baba.
Your journey has been very unique,
Jai
and to
Baba,
have
Jai
you
Baba.
with us in this group is a blessing. We see a perspective which we would have never gotten. So, all because of Baba's grace, we are here in this journey together. We value you in our lives, Jai Baba. Now, I would like to call on Mr. Vipul Kukreja. He is new, but I'm sure something must have changed in him as well. Vipulji.
Yeah. Let me first start how my Baba journey started. Few years ago, Ranga and Vidya came here to Mumbai and said, let's go to Mehrabad. I mean, I first of all did not know where Mehrabad was. But we went. From Mehrabad, then we went to 4 or 5 different locations, visiting those masters. Shirdi, then another place near Shirdi. So about 4 or 5 places, including one in Pune. Baba Jan, I think, is the name of the lady in Pune. And then I think everything remained dormant. Ranga is a very close friend of mine for the last 30 years or so. And I am going through a certain physical and professional challenge. So Ranga is a brother, so I talked to him very openly. And he introduced me to Kama. And Kama took me off on a journey here. Kama has been very kind. Okay. He's always by your side whenever you need him. And he introduced me to this group. Then I suddenly realized that I am part of a family which is so loving. I mean, people I've never met in my life, people I don't know at all, but people I can trust completely. I mean, that kind of feeling came, And every week I am enjoying. I started reading.
Discourses.
No, God speaks first. But yes, I found it a little complicated. It's a little more technical, I'll say. But I think discourses is much better. For example, the chapter on love today was probably one of the simplest things. But one more thing I am amazed at Baba's command over English language. When he must have dictated. Even the best of philosophers haven't done work in this kind of a language. I mean, I'm quite amazed now after having bought 2-3 books of Baba. So it's been a good journey. I mean, I think I would call it initiated here in the love of Baba and the love of Baba community in a very, very close knit and very loving family. And thank you very much to you all. Jai Baba. Thank you, Kama. Thank you, Ranga. Thank you, Vidya. And thank you to all of you for accepting me. I will remain part of this journey for the rest of my life. Thank you, Baba. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba, Vipulji. Jai Baba.
Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. And we are very happy to have you with us and continue this journey together. Tusharji, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Well, I have very different views right now, and I am in a very different state. After reading God Speaks, frankly, my experience is totally opposite and different. I'm struggling with Baba. I have a lot of chaos, and maybe it's a step ahead. 13 years, my relationship with Baba was in silence. So, I trusted one excerpt of what Baba said. If you want to really go on the path, it's a tough path. You have to leave everything. Everything meaning everything. Otherwise, don't come here. So probably that struggle is what I'm going through right now. And of course, I am associated with a lot of other organizations like the Theosophical Society. I am reading Gene Sutra of Mahavir also at the same time. And it's all the same actually, but you have to go beyond the intellect. we are still, all of us are still within the intellect. And when we talk of love today, love is something which comes from a different dimension beyond the mind. And it cannot be expressed in words. It's just can be experienced. This I have experienced with Baba over the years. But there is a struggle going on right now. In terms of what I'll say, my mother tongue is Gujarati. So usually don't say I like Baba. Baba ne game છે. Baba, I like Baba. This is what we say. Baba na prem માં છું is the other translation actually.
Jai Baba. Thank you so much, Tusharji. I remember Sunil and I were so lost when we started this group. We wouldn't even open our mouths. And he would always nudge us. What is the Singapore group doing? You have to ask questions even if you don't understand anything. And it used to encourage us because we used to feel so foolish. We didn't know what you guys were talking about. And those words always ring into my head. He will unmute himself. What is the Singapore? You cannot be just silent. You must talk. So that has really helped us. Thank you so much. You are a very special part of our initiation and understanding of Baba's love and internalizing it. And we value you in our lives. Thank you very much.
Baba's grace.
See you every weekend. That's my desire.
Let's see.
Yeah. Jai Baba. Now I will call upon Mr. Sunil Dhar to share his journey.
Jai Baba. Just quickly summarizing, I think I look at it as a plot by Baba. I've mentioned to most of you that I was born in Baba's family, so we believed in Baba right from beginning. And I think it's just like I'm a baby holding his hand and walking along the journey wherever he takes us. So I think this 1 year was also part of his plan for me. Initially, when I was a kid, we believed in Baba right from beginning. I used to think maybe our family, we have a lottery, we are such a small community who knows the avatar of the age. And as we progress, you get to know he belongs to everybody, the whole universe, So reading God Speaks, reading How to Lead Life and all that, it's again his divine blessing, divine grace for me. We have to do our part as we progress, of course, but just keep holding his daman all the time. So, and walk along. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. In Kashmiri, you can say I love Baba or me, whichever.
Jai Baba.
I can't speak much in Kashmiri.
Okay,
I'll imitate you, but when you speak Kashmiri, I can imitate that.
Okay. Ramakrishna ji, would you like to share your thoughts?
Mine, like, I'm very new to this group. I've been hearing all you all, like, I'm loving to be this group. Baba, I'm learning to love you all. Baba. So, good Karth brought me to this. Baba.
The audio is not clear, Ramakrishna ji. We can't hear you properly.
Okay, you able to hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah. I'm learning to love Baba now. So, because of Karthik, he brought me here. I'm listening to all your group. I'm listening to all your conversations. Very nice. So, yes, that is the way I think it has to be, and it is like that. So, let's hope this is good. Okay, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Lucky Jai.
Cherry, now it's your turn.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, Baba. Now I'm ready. Can I take the credit? Can I say I'm the baby of the group?
Yeah, you can take the
No,
credit.
no.
No cash.
I'm the guru. I'm the baby.
You've been with
You have
Baba
to
with
tell your year of
generation.
birth, okay? You still can't be sure.
We all are Baba's babies.
Within 3 minutes. We are all Baba's baby. We are all Baba. If within 3 minutes I have to tell you about my journey in this 1 year, I will not say I'm the best or I've grown completely, but I'm a better person. I completely thank you, Baba. I am a better person. There are a lot of things I'm trying to overcome. I'm just taking, it's just baby steps. I agree with Sanjay ji. It's not a big change, but we look forward to this Saturday, Sunday. We look forward, maybe not through our personal experience, but through the group itself, we've learned so much. And before I forget, I have something blue. I have a nail paint blue. Nomita.
Okay. You are part of the group then. Okay.
Now you have the license.
I don't know. I just don't have words. But honestly, there are habits that I've overcome. There are habits that I'm still trying to overcome. There are things that I'm not being able to change, and I keep saying, Baba, it's only you now. You can do it. I'm not being able to. And the very biggest thing that I have learned and helping me in my growth is learning to accept whatever in life is coming. It's not because of anything else. It's Baba who's given you, and accept it with love, with smile, and with happiness. Our sadness is his sadness. Our suffering is his suffering. It's not easy for Baba himself. But we need to go through and let's with a smile. It's not easy. I'm saying it's not easy, but Baba will help me. If he's brought me here, he will take me along, and it's an actual anniversary. Kolkata Meher Meet, 8th of March. The lockdown happened in March again, and I was in Kolkata. And there was a reason Baba had kept me there. It's because of this group. I had to learn so much through all of you. That 9 months I was in Kolkata, I've learned so much, and now I'm back in Delhi. My mother-in-law says, Khalid, she told him also that I see a drastic change in her, and that meant a lot. But I know within myself that it's not a drastic change. It's just starting. Hopefully, I stick on to Baba's Daman, and I keep loving him more and more. I will not be able to say yet that I love you, Baba. I would say, Baba, you keep on loving me, and let me give you that love that we are all supposed to. I'm still not there, but I'll try. I'm trying. Jai Baba. Love you, Baba.
Jai Baba. Cherry, so in Punjabi, you must say, Baba, I love you. How you can escape that?
Tamil too.
Yeah.
Tamil, we have Karthik, we have Mama Ji. I'll do the Punjabi one. Baba, मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚਾਹਨੀ ਆ.
ਆਹੋ ਜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਐਸੇ ਹੀ. Jai Baba. Thank you very much for your honest and lovely sharing. Yes, you are the baby of the group, and we love you so much. Jayanti Anandji, would you like to come and share your baby steps towards Baba through this group? Is she around?
Yes, I am around. Did you call me?
Yes, I called you. Pleasure to have you, and we look forward to your sharing, maybe not from this group of about Baba.
So I should thank Vidya. I know Vidya for the past 3 years, I would say. So I know Meher Baba for the past 3 years, and I was like very impressed with the readings. And I think everywhere we reason out logically and intellectually before even we get attached emotionally. That's what has happened. And I have been reading books maybe for the past 10 years of different saints and sages and scripts and so on. And when I read God Speaks, that was the first time I got struck awe in terms of how nicely things have been put together. And discourses was the best one in terms of pictorially represent what happens to human being, how we evolve, and at every stage what we will be going through. It made me not only theoretically agree, emotionally to agree, and that's the attachment that I had. I do have to thank Corona for this, because Vidya did make us read the books, and Kama, I should thank that intellectually he was making me argue or go through certain things and teach me. And so Vidya and Kama had been my guru in terms of initiating me into this path. And the books that I have read actually made me emotionally get attached to Baba also. And when I did go through COVID on my own, it actually made me look at life in a very, very different way than getting scared for death or whatever. But I did pray saying that I should live to get into the God realization and get into the path, kind of a thing, when I was sitting alone in the hospital. So this 1 year for me also, I think after the lockdown is when I would say officially got into it on a day-to-day base, reading and assimilating that knowledge into my brain and into my internalizing. I am very, very thankful to Baba, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Such a beautiful sharing.
Yeah,
We welcome you to the group and to our hearts. And in Baba's divine grace and love, we submit. Thank you very much, Jayanti ji.
Thank you.
Did I miss anyone? Has everybody spoken?
Vijay is there, so you might want to see if he wants to say something.
Nomita ji,
Hanji?
I will start taking Baba's prasad khichdi. Excuse me.
No problem. Don't eat too much. Leave some for us.
Okay, okay.
No, I'll show you what I cooked for Baba. Later, I'll show you. I'll brag also. Okay, Karthik, you were saying?
I was saying Vijay is on the call, so you might just want him to say hello.
Vijayji, would you like to please put your camera on and speak to us about Baba's love?
Karthik, are you referring me?
Yeah,
yes,
there's only
indeed.
one Vijay.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I thought somebody, other Vijay also might be there.
No,
just wanted to, because I just joined today with Karthik.
With fire,
Turn on your camera, please.
Sorry, actually I was walking, and so that is where I'm not able to do that. Yeah, maybe next time.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Or else let me try. Am I visible?
Yes, you are visible, audible, both.
Very well.
Keep the camera a little away so you can see your full face. Yeah.
He's also wearing blue.
Oh, is it? Yeah, Baba's color.
Today is a blue day.
No, we have to put away all our blues away. Okay, Vijayji, would you like to say something about Baba?
Yeah, I mean, I heard from Karthik and Kama about this group started, maybe a year ago or so. And actually, Kama and myself were part of Meher Baba Universal Spiritual Center website making. So I hope you all might have seen the website by now.
Yes, it's very well done. Very good. Very good job. Excellent. I'm very honored to see you. It's my go-to place.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba. And keep sharing the website, because the website purpose itself for the seekers, how to know about Baba and go from there kind. And so that is also one of the media, I would say. So this is very interesting. having people sharing about Baba and learnings about Baba. My story started with Baba in way back in 2001, and still then my journey is continuing. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, Karthik. With Baba, right? He takes care of everything because without his permission, we can't even come here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's where I observed, and people, all your transformations also I was hearing, and it's great to hear. And because I'm little away to what you call intellectual, because Baba gave prasad to me as love or something. So that's where because we used to go to centers and listen there and learn the things, but due to pandemic time, we are not able to do that as well. So this is the great forum, I would say, to learn about Baba and transforming ourselves. It's great actually to listen. But just want to add one thing. With Baba's journey, we don't have to lose or leave anything. That's what Baba said. Never shirk the responsibilities. So it is the beauty of living with Baba and traveling with Baba, I would say. We don't have to leave anything. And because I'm also recently purchased my own house and everything. Like I been to US and came back, and we can live as is. Actually, that is the beauty with living with Baba. And on top of that, the advantage is the transformation part he takes care of on behalf of all of us. So he guides us, and he makes us perfect in the aspect of truth. So that's really interesting journey with him. That's what my experience. And great. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Vijayji. So much
Jai Baba.
in what you said. So much love in what you said. I think, like you also, the words jump over my head. I'm also, my prasad is also love. So I'm very fortunate that I was able to listen to you. Jai Baba. Thank you for your sharing.
We need
And
more
now I
love
think,
prasads in the group, so please join regularly, Vijay.
yes,
Sure.
we need more love potions here
It's,
because
it would be my pleasure, and definitely Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, looking forward to having you here. Has everybody said? Anybody left? No.
Nomita, you're left.
Yes, I am left and right.
Well, what about
So
Samira?
I have written something. I will read it. Uh, please mute your mics. I want you to listen to me carefully.
Nomita, where? Samira is here. Sorry,
Samira?
Samira?
I think she was there earlier.
I
but
saw
now
her, but I don't think she's not here now.
I don't think she's on the call. I think she's left by now.
If she comes back, please tell me.
Sure. Go ahead, Nomita.
Okay, please mute everybody. We must have undivided attention for Baba. Meher Baba Awakens, MBA, Pilgrimage to Self. Through the flow of His divine grace, Meher Baba gave us this incredible family. Meher Baba Awakens on 14th March 2020. Today, we complete 1 year. This pilgrimage to self was Baba's gift to all of us. Jan to March 2020, before COVID had changed the reality of the human race, Baba planned this for us. Baba made it conducive for all of us to walk on the magical soil of Mehrabad. We all were among those fortunate ones a big, big, big gratitude to Baba. He gave us the preview of what was to come. By putting the thought of this virtual group, he prepared us in whispers, wrapped us in his love. He gave us each other to decode and understand his unspoken word. This experience was like a sweet song and a tide at the same time. It swayed us and grounded us at the same time. The preparation and hand-holding of Baba has for all of us been the greatest gift of many lifetimes. When God speaks, we listen. He knocks the door within and knocks sense into us. On the way, we discover all the knowledge is latent within us. It is just to dust off our sanskaras, and there shines Baba, who is already within us. We have been bathed in his love and grace, his powerful words. Many a times our intellect could not decode. It's been a journey from a caterpillar to a butterfly for all of us. Baba gifted us this new family, a family which is a living example of life, illusion. Most of us have not met each other in person, but we feel we are a family, guiding us to drop the unreal and only holding on to what is real, our innermost loving selves. This year has been a journey home. This body is a temporary residence, also gifted by His grace alone. Mesmerizing us with His kind and magnetic form, He taught us to love the formless. Awareness that we must let go of our ego was yet another learning. Awareness that bad is beginning of good is a perspective that puts the seed of compassion within. Not to discriminate, not to judge, not to backbite, all steps towards polishing us to shine the gold within, which is Baba. Till this happened, major milestones were linked to success, marriage, birth of our children, things we accumulate, and so on. This 1 year, starting on 14th March 2020, Meher Baba Awakens has been the most major milestone of an era. This year, I lost my very, very dear father, and I was so close to him. I had never, I would not accept death of anyone. I was never prepared for anyone's, and that also my own father, who was so dear to me. But Baba handheld me, making me understand that soul continues to live and shine. Body is just a medium. And he gave me so much love, power, compassion to understand and put it in perspective. To have been able to accept my father's going away, but yet feeling him in my breath every day, can only be if Baba plans it for you. In Baba's love, possessions, temperament, holding on to things, saying that I have done, it's all dissolved for me. Whatever is in front of me, I want to give it my 100%. And that's all there is. And whenever he decides to take us, whatever he wants to give us, however he wants us to shape our life, in his divine will, in his grace, we submit. And the only thing I ask of him is, Baba, please continue to allow us to hold on to your Daman, which is so precious. There is nothing else I want to hold on to except your grace, which you have been so gracious to give to us, handful of us. And I hope he binds us in love. And this seed of love, which has been sown in each of our hearts, with all the beautiful knowledge of wisdom he has given, may it shorten our many janmas, and may we merge in him and emerge as just one, which is Baba. Jai Baba. Okay.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Okay. Now I'll ask Sanjay ji to sing.
Nomita, you rapped very beautiful way. It was a beautiful.
Nomita, you have to share those words with the group.
Thank
They are very, very beautiful. The ones you wrote down. Yeah.
Very touching. Very touching.
You can also hear Bhajan.
Yes, Nomita ji, very well said. And I just want to add that thanks to Karthik for bringing me to this group. He sort of reached out to me after failed messages. And also, a lot of learning has come from Kama. So I wanted to acknowledge that. And from everybody else. Learning from everybody else's experiences. We learned a lot. Thanks to all of you.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
The meat of the group, the meat of the group, spiritual shopping. What else? Am I audible? We've had fun throughout. We've had fun throughout. Over to you, Sanjay ji.
I echo what Ashok ji said. Thank you, everyone. Kama ji especially. We learned a lot from Kama. Although I argue with him sometimes. Love to argue. Like.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, पार ब्रह्म परमात्मा की जय, सच्चिदानंद मेहर प्रभु की जय। सुप्रभात की मंगल वेला, जाग रहा संसार, सुनो प्रेमियों सुनो सुनो रे, आया है अवतार, सुनो रे, आया है अवतार, सुनो रे, आया है अवतार, सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। मधुर मधुर है नाम मेहर का, अति सुंदर है रूप मेहर का, मधुर मधुर है नाम मेहर का, अति सुंदर है रूप मेहर का, प्रेम स्पर्श से नाश होत सब, प्रेम स्पर्श से नाश होत सब, जन मन के संस्कार, सुनो प्रेमियों सुनो सुनो रे, आया है अवतार, सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। या सागर तल या आकाश, कण कण में है उसका वास, या सागर तल या आकाश, कण कण में है उसका वास, बाहर भीतर सकल चराचर बाहर भीतर सकल चराचर वो ही करुणाधार। सुनो प्रेमियों, सुनो सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। ना मंदिर में ना मस्जिद में, ना गिरजा नहीं गुरुद्वारा में, ना मंदिर में ना मस्जिद में, ना गिरजा नहीं गुरुद्वारा में, वो है प्रेमी के हृदय में, वो है प्रेमी के हृदय में, जो सुमिरे हर बार। सुनो प्रेमियों, सुनो सुनो रे, आया है। शुद्ध प्रेम से उनको ध्याना, मधुसूदन यही दामन गहना। शुद्ध प्रेम से उनको ध्याना, मधुसूदन यही दामन गहना। भव सागर से तर जाने का, भव सागर से तर जाने का, ये ही सरल उपचार। सुनो प्रेमियों, सुनो सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। सुप्रभात की मंगल बेला, जाग रहा संसार। सुनो प्रेमियों, सुनो सुनो रे, आया है अवतार। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Jai Baba.
So beautiful.
So beautiful.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you everyone.
Jai Meher
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Jai
Thanks
Meher
Baba.
Baba. Beautiful stuff.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Sanjay ji, you're singing one more song, right?
I just
Of
I thought
course.
this maybe next
No
time.
choice.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 12:30. I
Jai
think
Baba.
everybody
Yeah,
needs to leave. Namita,
yeah,
I
it's
think my
getting late.
presentation
It's
also we
almost
will
10.
do next
All
week.
right, sure.
Yeah.
Jai Baba. So, Sunil ji, you can share what Baba has said about love.
Uh, I think it needs at least 15-20 minutes, Nomita.
You can show it, share it, and just pick
Mhm.
up few things out of it, the best ones that stayed with you.
Okay, I will just share one point because if we go deeper, it's pretty deep. So, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
So, what is love? I basically compiled Baba's sayings about love through his, various discourses and, sahwas, and put it in this PowerPoint. But I think some of them need us to really listen and think. First one is the most important and most interesting, and it was echoed by Sherry, I think this, when you asked her to speak today. What is love? To give and never to ask. So that's the basic premise of love, to be giving. And if we understand that, I think half the job is done. So I have a lot more to cover. All that Baba has spoken about love. It needs us to sit down, think, listen, and absorb. So, and it ends in how to love God, which we repeatedly, I think, speak up. But unless we all want to sit through another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I think we better do it in a time span of the reading next week. Nomita, what do you suggest? The presentation?
Let's do it.
Whatever everyone says.
Shall we do it?
Just an MC.
Let's do it.
I can sit and let's do
Yeah,
it.
I'm fine.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
fine.
All right. I'm good. Yeah, let's do it.
Do it, Sunilji. Jai Baba.
Okay. I'll start. So let's not waste time then. Divine love. So what's divine love? This is from
Please
God's
mute everyone except Sunil.
So divine love is about ability to exercise constant control over one's low desires is no mean achievement. So it's about exercising constant control over one's low desires. That itself is no mean achievement. Success in establishing a lasting sublimation of all desires is indeed a greater one. That means if we continue to have a lasting sublimation of all desires, it's a greater one. But the greatest is the burning away of one's desires once for all. That means you've got to give up everything, which divine love alone can do. As there is never any show about divine love, this burning in love is always without smoke, that is, without show. There are times when an outward expression of God love may amount to heroism, but to make at any time a mere show of one's love for God for the sake of show amounts to an insult to God. So this has to be burning of all the desires in his love and always without a smoke. That's the expectation. That's the bar. Very, very high, I think. In God Speaks also, I read this. Akl go asta se dur nahi, uski takdeer mein huyur nahi. It means intellect, though not far away from the threshold of the beloved, is not destined to enjoy the divine presence. The East thus knows that the point at which intellect gives up its effort in grappling with which is transcendental, love must take up the link. The last mile, after you've learned everything, you heard everything, you covered all the planes, is love. You burn yourself in love. But to reach there, it's a journey for us. We are far, far, far away. About true love, Baba says, just as a thirsty man in the desert under the hot sun values water more than heap of pearls and diamonds placed before him, so also a true lover of God wants him alone and considers every other object as a trifle before him. The real lover desires no name, fame, or money, but his beloved. He who does not possess an attribute is a man full of self-interest. This is 25th April 1924 at Mehrabad. Love, a divine gift. Love is a divine gift given by Sadgurus. Even if the whole world wants it, it can never bestow such a gift. And once it is granted, not even all of humanity can snatch it away, no matter how hard it strives to do so. Love is a divine love is the divine gift. Once you know how to love, there is no trouble. Once you have adapted yourself to the way, your hardships disappear. This is in October 27 at Prema Ashram. Baba said to the boys of the Prema Ashram, I think, yeah, sorry, font is small. Love entails pain. Baba has mentioned this in 1930 March somewhere. A tavern keeper first receives the cash from a customer before handing him over the wine-up glass. He checks the coin to ascertain whether it is genuine or counterfeit. Similarly, the Sadguru also demands his price, not in money, but in love. Before giving you the gift of love, you can deceive a wine seller by passing him counterfeit coins, but never a Sadguru. He has no use for false coins, the show of love. So he calls the show of love a false coin. But love entails pain, the pain of the pangs and the thirst of separation while constantly burning. This gradually minimizes the strength of ego and eventually destroys it, because love never thinks of or cares for itself. It just burns its victim in love for its beloved. This burning gradually diminishes the ego, and thus it is eventually totally annihilated. In this fire, love makes its victim realize the self. So that's the journey that Baba has explained. Then at one point in 1931 in Karachi, Baba has given some comparison between prayer versus love. People pray to me to solve their difficulties, saying that they would love me. But there is a vast difference between love and prayer. In Persian, to pray means to beg, to want, to desire something, even the blessings of God. But when a person really loves, he gives himself over to his beloved completely. This is true love. In that, there is no begging, no wanting, no room for desires. Only the longing to unite with the beloved remains. Love means the renunciation of the self. Prayer means selfishness, no matter how high the prayer may be. So there is a vast difference between when one prays and when one loves. Then there's another one in February 1937, I think, Bombay. The aim of life is to realize God. How? By making the highest ideal of religion or our conduct in life. This noble idea is love. Only the way of love is the best and the easiest path. It means to love only God and none besides Him. Material love is good, but it should be selfless and desireless. Love should be absolutely devoid of lust, and it should be steadfast and unchanging. If a woman is in the mood, she will be after one man today, another tomorrow, and third the day after. This is not love, it is lust. Mind's tendency is that it always hankers after change from one thing to another, one person to another, one place to another. Have love for only one and the one alone. Love is a mighty force. The reason of my coming here all the way from one end of the country to another to participate personally in your celebration is your love that has irresistibly drawn me to you. This was in Madras, February 1934. It said, love is a mighty force. It not only enables one to put the idea of selfless service into practice, but would transform one into God. With love, one can follow any of the yogas most suitable to his or her temperament. It will enable an aspirant to follow the rigid principles underlying the spiritual path, and where and when necessary, make him turn his back to the worldly pleasures for the sake of union with the beloved. The greatest law of God is love. This is February 34, again, Madras. Where there is love, there is oneness. and there can be no question of any particular religion or caste or system, superiority or inferiority, untouchability or untouchability. These distinctions are not real has been proven in a way by the recent earthquake tragedy. This must be in 34 that he mentioned that. The earthquake in Bihar was simply a manifestation of one of the laws of nature, and that disaster spared none, rich or poor, high or low, belonging to this religion or that. It was not divine wrath. It is an eye-opener to the fact that where God and his laws are concerned, there's no question of caste, creed, or country. But to realize this natural, equally permanently, one has to submit to the greatest law of God, which is love. It holds the key to all problems inasmuch as under this law, the infinite is realized completely at all times in every walk of life, be it science, art, religion, or beauty. May the world realize this highest aspect of divinity more and more. Somebody asked him in 1937, as a gentleman called William Warner, for a long time I have been trying to find out the actual definition of love. Can you tell me what it is? Baba said, love means a life of giving without expectation of receiving any reward. People must give and then receive. First give and then you will have it all. But instead people want to have it all and then think of giving. This is not the right way. Another one in 1953 in Dehradun, God needs love, not ceremonies. God needs love, not ceremonies or shows. This love has to be so profound that when the heart loves him, the mind should not be aware of it. God is equally within us all, and we must love him. When we realize him, all our suffering comes to an end. And for this, we must love him in every walk of life. Love is best expressed when we give happiness to others at the cost of our own happiness. My blessings. God is the only one worth living and dying for. If we love him intensely and honestly, we will find him in ourselves and in everyone. The least trace of hypocrisy keeps him away from us. When we find him, we experience infinite bliss. We then see him everywhere and as our own self. I give my blessing for that love, which will help you to love God as he ought to be loved. Jai Baba. Outward show versus inward love. Baba said, God is not fooled by any outward show. He is completely deaf to ceremonial prayer and ringing of church bells and chanting of mantras. He's never taken in by such superficial veneer, never ensnared by such blandishments. Love alone can move him. Love alone can conquer him. Without that, nothing is of any avail. It is love, not questioning, that will bring you to God, Baba said somewhere. I don't have the place and date. Love means longing. Love means restlessness. Love means harassment. Love means separation. It is all necessary, he said in 1930 at Mehrabad. And if there is no love, he said, at least remember me every day 14 times. Do selfless service, because when you forget yourself, you forget the illusory self when you do the selfless service. He said at Mehrabad in 1955. So we still have an escape if we don't have love to do the service and keep remembering him. And in Seven Realities, Baba said, the only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, which is God. And finally, we read this many times. I will read it once again to close the session. How to love God. To love God in the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. If we feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own dear ones, we love God. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves, we are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we are loving God. If we suffer in the suffering of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, we are loving God. If instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think of ourselves more fortunate than many, many others, we are loving God. If we endure our lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, we are loving God. If we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. To love God as He ought to be loved, we must live for the God and die for God, knowing that the goal of all life is to love God and find Him as our own self. Jai Baba. And Baba says, I'm the ocean of love and mercy. I'm the Lord of universe. I want only your love. Jai Baba. That's the end of it.
Avatar Meher Baba ki
Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher ki jai. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Sunil ji.
Jai Baba, thank you
Beautiful,
so
Sunil,
much.
as
Thank you
always.
so much.
Jai Baba.
As always.
Baba, Baba, Baba.
Excellent work.
Very
Smita.
lovingly,
Excellent
very
work.
lovingly done. Yeah, very lovingly done.
Beautiful. Enjoyed the whole program.
Full of love.
Very good.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, everyone.
Good job. Keep doing good work.
Nomita ji, what next?
I think in visuals, Before last year, um, I couldn't think very properly. But during this whole year, I have been feeling like, the small child, he doesn't want to open his mouth. And then the mother sits on him, holds his hands and feet, and then shoves food into his mouth. He will splash it out, and it's very messy, but the mother keeps on pushing.
Yeah.
So everybody on this group, from Neha to Tushar to Karthik to Sanjay ji, to Ravi ji, to our very dear Kama ji and baby sister Cherry. And if I've forgotten some names, I normally have this tendency of forgetting, but I do love all of you. So everybody has been putting the spoon of Baba's love in our mouth. And now, today, we have, once the child is fed, he stops fluttering, he stops resistance, he's easy, no questions, because he's satisfied. So after this 1 year, I feel that fluttering, that disease is all, it's a calm lake for all of us. And we are settled, and we are very honored by Baba's grace of putting that seed in our heart. In His divine love, in His divine grace, in His divine mercy, we submit. And the only truth there is only Baba, and only truth we have to seek is Him. And we request Baba to allow us to hold fast to His Daman as long as we have grip in these hands, grip in our hearts, grip in our brains. Whatever Baba has planned for us in the future, we submit to that. Thank you for being such a wonderful family. Thank you for being Baba lovers. Thank you for shining that light within us, which was latent and we didn't know about it. And we love Baba. Thank you, Baba, for all the gifts of this life, the breath, the body, people around us, family, friends, jobs, food, everything, Baba, belongs to you. In your grace, in your divine mercy, we submit. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki
Baba
jai.
ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki
Avatar
jai.
Meher Baba ki jai.
On my
Thanks to
side,
all. Thanks to all.
over to you,
Thank you,
Karthik.
Baba. Thank
Thanks
you, Meher
everyone.
Baba, for everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Well anchored, Nomita ji. Program. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
Excellent job.
for
Nomita ji.
a superb
The
job
only
of
anchor is
I could
Baba.
see so much of change in Nomita in just 1
Perfect.
year. She's a different person now altogether.
I am. Thank you to
Baba,
you.
Baba,
Thank you.
Baba. Thank
You
you,
know,
Baba.
when I reached Mehrabad, we reached before 7 a.m. RT, and Baba had put his agent looking for us. And Neha gave me a hug for at least 10 minutes. We had never met before that. And I knew Baba had designated her to usher us in. I can never forget that moment. It was so
Baba,
special. Thank you very much.
Baba,
Jai Baba,
On
with
that
this,
beautiful
I
Jai
know you
note,
Baba.
don't want to go. You know, there's this song, आज जाने की जिद ना करो,
Beautiful.
आए मर जाएंगे, हम तो मिट जाएंगे, ऐसी बातें किया ना करो, आज जाने की जिद ना करो. We don't want to leave Baba, but he is with us. So let's continue what we are destined, we are designated to do, look after our family and keep him seated in our heart forever and ever. Jai Baba. See you everybody
Jai
next
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
week.
Jai Baba, Jai
Sharti,
Baba.
Jai
Neha,
Baba.
please be here. We love you so much. Your energy is so
Jai
good.
Baba.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba. Thank you, Karthik, for being the
Jai Baba. Take
Thank
care.
you.
tech giant.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you, all
for
of you. Thank you, all
handling
of
this
you.
so beautifully today. Jai
Thank you,
Baba.
Baba. Thank
Jai
you,
Baba.
Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Jai Baba.
अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है.